and direct in the Pod Feet Towers here. Let me start the broadcast for Kevin, so the whining isn't so high. How you doing tonight, Steve?
I'm doing just fine, Pod Feet. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Although Kevin hasn't joined us yet, and I
Has
don't.
he
I
done
didn't
his
get
weekly
a.
reviews?
I did not give him a hall pass. So
Ping him. Ping him. Ask him what the heck.
yeah, what's going on, Wingman?
I know. All right. All hands attack on Steve. Kevin's not here. Kevin's not here,
I won't
man.
be able to defend myself.
Exactly. All right. Oh, Terry Voglar is here.
Yep.
Terry, I got your review this afternoon. It will not play this week, but very likely next week. It's going to be Marianne Gary. Dr. Gary will be here in town, so it will be harder to do writing. So that came at a perfect time. I loved it. It was really, really good. I find it fascinating that a country as small as wait a minute. No, hang on. I'm going to say this correctly. Joop is on this week, and he said he was Dutch, but I asked him, I said, okay, you got to explain this Dutch thing to me again. And he told me, I'll probably read this on the show because it's so awesome. I asked him the difference. I said, I don't understand what Dutch actually means. Dutch, Netherlands, what does it mean? He says, the country is the Netherlands, translated lowlands. The people are the Netherlanders, but nobody can pronounce that. To foreigners, the Dutch language and the German language sound similar. The German for German is Deutsch. And there you have it. They bastardized the Deutsch into Dutch. But it gets worse. The Netherlands have 12 provinces. 2 of the provinces are called North and South Holland. Most foreigners and tourists arrive in one of the Hollands and never get outside, so they think the country is called Holland. And that is wrong. It is like calling every American a Texan. I'm originally from the most northern province, Groningen, and proud of it, so I will never be a Hollander. And for fun, the term Yankee is derived from a Dutch name, Jan Kees, so I guess we're all related somehow. So he's from the Netherlands, from Groningen. But Terry Vogelaar is from the Netherlands, from Holland.
You should see the sunset.
What?
There's a great sunset out there.
You want me to leave the live show and go look out the bathroom window?
I'll describe it to you. It's
very Why don't you turn your camera around, silly?
I'd have to pick up my iMac.
Oh, you don't have a separate camera.
Right. That would be a hard one.
So you were right. You wrecked my punchline.
Oh, I'm sorry. Proceed. Repeat it.
No, you wrecked it. You talked right at the punchline. So anyway, now I understand it.
I'm getting real pretty fuzzy video. Sound is okay, but the video
you're very fuzzy. I'm seeing fuzzy video on you, and I'm getting an echo. Are you sure you don't have your speakers on?
Yeah, I'm plugged in through the headphones.
Okay, it's when I'm talking, I'm hearing a bit of an echo. Echo.
It does sound a little fuzzy.
It sounds a little fuzzy?
You know, grainy. I know I'm applying visual adjectives to your voice, but
you sound like Dan or something. All right, well, we really should take roll call. We have Steve and Brett and Nick and Dan and John and Rose and Sandy and Terry.
Rose just snuck in.
Woo!
That was just close.
Rose has a permanent hall pass with me. You know how I feel about Rose. She's special. Let's see. Let me find my NosillaCast intro and drag that up in here. And I did a test with Steve, but let me just do a playback and make sure you guys can hear this. Whoa. That's loud?
Yeah.
I don't control that volume. I can bring that down in the recording. I would normally put it maybe about there, but it's not peaking or anything, Steve. You might have your speakers up too high.
All of a sudden your video got really good.
Good. Wait, am I on the right camera?
Yeah.
It's weird. The latest, I don't know whether it's the latest OS or webcam settings, I don't get a light on the camera anymore. So I used to have a blue light, and it might be a webcam setting. Not sure.
You're on the right camera. We see the meat grinder. We see your clock.
All right.
We see you.
So I do have I have something important and special here. You might have heard me use the word boogers from time to time. Look what Pat bought me. So for Dan, this is a box of boogers. It's from a company called Flicks Candy. And Bart really likes that because you can flick your boogers. It says right here, tangy gummy boogies that look and feel real. And Bart thinks I should do an unboxing on the video here, but we'll wait for a break and see whether you guys are worthy of that. To see
I definitely want a burger. Booger.
A booger. Oh, you want to eat one too?
Oh yeah.
All right. Nick is like, nope. I love it. All right. We'll wait a little while, and you guys take a little poll, though, a vote whether you want me to do the unboxing, because I think this is actually mantle worthy. Not everything is, Okay. All right. Let's start recording here. Oops. Here we go. Are you muted, Steve? Yes, you are. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, November 12th, 2017, and this is show number 653. We've got a lot of fun this week. We've got listener reviews by Yope and Denise, and I've even got a couple of contributions myself, and we've got security bits with Bart Bouchatz. But before we get started, I have to apologize for an egregious error. Last week on the show, I referred to David Roth as Mr. Cranky Pants because he didn't like the emoji I've been continually sending him. He sent me a correction reminding me that he is a lawyer and asked me to refer to him as Dr. Cranky Pants, Juris Doctor. I will make sure to keep that in mind for the future. Well, this week's Chit Chat Across the Pond is Programming by Stealth, episode 43 of X, and the title is Introducing JavaScript ES6. It's a little bit of a tease because most of the show is going through Bart's solution to the challenge on the Game of Life web app that he built for us the previous week. It was interesting to listen to him go through it because his approach was very different from what Dorothy and I did, so it took a lot of explaining on his part. I'm not going to lie, a little bit of this was pretty tough for me in the middle. Anyway, he does get to JavaScript ES6, where he gives us our first taste of the easier way of doing things in ES6 versus the nasty old ways that we used to do, like 10 minutes ago. Anyway, check it out either in the Programming by Stealth feed or the full Chit Chat Across the Pond feed. Well, in bragging rights here, Don McAllister just posted my Screencast Online tutorial on the new version of iStat menus. If you've been using it for a long time and love it like most people, I think you'll really enjoy this upgrade. You can check out my video at screencastonline.com, look for episode 679, or just do a search there for iStat menus. Remember, this is a subscription service, but you can get a free, I think it's 14-day trial the first time you go there, and you can check it out. You can look at the entire back catalog. Well, in the continue to brag category this week, I horned my way into the SMR podcast because I really wanted to talk about the iPhone X with the guys over there. Rod Simmons wasn't there, but luckily he came to visit the next day or the day before, the next day. But in the meantime, I was able to talk with Chris Ashley and Rob Dunwood about the iPhone X. It was, of course, a blast as always because those guys are just the best people. It's funny to be such good friends with Chris when I've never met him. We've met Rob a couple of times and he's awesome. So it's a fun friendship. Anyway, Chris had a lot of questions about the iPhone X as he's considering getting one for himself soon. I also queried the two of them for advice for a friend of mine who's considering switching from the Mac over to a Surface. Okay, no judging. I'm being open-minded. I wanted to understand what would the options be. So the main reason my friend wanted to is thinking about switching was for cost. So we talked through the different Surface options, but more importantly, we dug into, how do you use an iPhone in a mixed OS household? Because I have no experience with that. I only use a Mac. Anyway, check out SMR podcast number 359. It's called Should I Get One with Allison Sheridan. Anyway, enjoying the fun in there with some of my favorite podcasters. I saw a typo though. Clacked.
George snuck in.
George!
And he's refusing to buy us all drinks. Even though he called himself Shirley Temple, I thought it was appropriate he'd buy us all Shirley Temples.
What is his justification? I mean, how
that he's not buying? I don't know. He's just proclaiming it.
We've got a mutiny in here.
Mutiny in.
This is what happens when Kevin isn't here. And I know where Kevin is?
Yeah, he said he's not feeling so well, so he may not be joining us.
Bummer. I was hoping he just forgot or had something more fun to do.
So with the permission of the chat room, I will give him all of your best, if that's okay.
I'm sure that is what people would want for sure. Hope he does better soon.
Everclear? No, we don't. You don't have to put Everclear in the Shirley Temple.
So anybody doesn't know what Everclear is, it's a really, really high alcohol content. What is it even?
It's not vodka. It's almost pure grain alcohol. It's like 98%. It's about as high as you can get and still be exposed to the atmosphere.
So Steve acquired a bottle at some point, in college, I think.
Yeah.
And all we ever did with this bottle was open it up and let people smell it, and it was eventually gone. No one ever had it. We never drank it, right, Steve? Unless you were in there sneaking sips of it.
Yeah, I think it evaporates really quickly.
Yeah, I think so.
180 proof. Okay, so 90%. That's not quite as high as I thought, but still pretty high.
Yikes. All right, let's keep this show going.
All right.
Marianne Hegedus pinged me over on Twitter about an app she saw advertised called Stepshot Guides for the Mac, Windows, and soon to be Linux. It looks like this app, Stepshot Guides, might be a replacement for Clarify. As you might remember, the Blue Mango Learning folks have stopped active development on Clarify, in terms of adding new features. But Clarify works perfectly well in High Sierra. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not really dead, but it's just maybe not getting the upgrades that we would hope for. Personally, I think it's perfect, so I don't need anything. But anyway, the only concern we have now is whether they're going to up it to 64-bit a year from now, which is when that'll be a requirement for the next operating system. I figure we can just get the NosillaCastaways army involved and we'll just whine until they do it. But anyway, it might concern you that, maybe it will go away the next time. So we have kind of been trying to keep our eyes out for an alternative. And Marianne wanted us to know about Stepshot. Now, I haven't had time to go through it and do a thorough test of the app. I did dabble in it, but I wanted to point you right now to a link on a site called appsumo.com where they have discounts on apps. Because Stepshot through AppSumo right now, they have a $39 deal for a lifetime subscription. You hear that word subscription, and we hate that. Well, a lot of us, I don't know, maybe some of us like it. Anyway, normally Stepshot is $99 a year. That's pretty steep if you're not a business. I don't make a lot of money on this. So, I don't really want to spend $100 a year to do this. So $39 through AppSumo might be a good deal for you to just snag it now. And then if it turns into something great later, it'd be worth the money. Well, Marianne also pointed me to a video by Nathan Wrigley where he walks through Stepshot he takes it through its paces so you can see if it's something you might want in your back pocket before the sale goes away. I'd never seen Nathan Wrigley before. She said this was one of her favorite podcasters. And this guy's, I really, really liked it. He takes a long time to get started, but if you jump in partway through, he's very funny. He's got a great voice, and it's actually a pretty good walkthrough to see all of the things that it can do. Anyway, again, I am not endorsing Stepshot, but it appears to have a lot of what makes Clarify a critical tool for me. It can export to PDF and to WordPress, which are the two things I use it for exclusively. It has little boxes and little arrows, and it's got the sequence steps, which is a critical piece. And it's got blur, so that's good. It looks like it's missing a fairly major capability. You can't change the font on any of your screenshots. So it is what it is. You can change the color, but you can't change the size or what the font is. So that's a little bit janky. But anyway, I don't want you to run over and buy it necessarily unless you want to, but just to know that it's $39 now. If you decide later that, hey, this is the cat's meow, I really want this, it's $99 a year. So anyway, just letting you know, and a big thanks and a big shout out to Marianne for letting us know about that.
Did you go off script?
How could you tell?
Because I'm looking at your blog post.
Oh, and I'm like,
any of that.
I'm just winging it. Yeah, I got inspired. All right, we have Yup Brugnik next. Yup. I finally learned it. I'm sorry, not Brugnik. Brugink. It's INCK. Which should be right here. Yup. All right. this is actually, that sounds like Steve. Steve always says, well, that actor's actually pretty good. And it's like a real, normal actor.
What Steve are you talking about?
You.
Oh.
I forget what we were watching last night where you said, he's actually pretty good. It's like, well, yeah, he's an actor. Of course he's good.
By the way, update on the Everclear, 95%.
Oh my gosh. Seriously?
190 proof.
So 190, how do you calculate that?
Just half of the proof is the percentage alcohol.
Oh, wow. Oh, we use it for cleaning. Interesting. I was put on the Christmas punch community. You did not put it in the punch. We should get a new bottle and see how long, and actually, write down how many times we open it.
I don't know if I don't see it sold much. I actually haven't looked for it, but
sounds like John could find us a link. All right, let me listen to this connection. I'll give you the beginning of Joop's thing here. Shout out to Marianne for letting us know about that.
Hello, Alison and NosillaCastaways. This is Joop from chilly and foggy Netherlands. It was so funny hearing you talk about queuing up to get a new iPhone 10, but it shows commitment. Honestly, I never have, and probably never will, I guess, get up that early to get an iPhone, or anything else for that matter. I ordered mine as soon as possible, hoping for an early delivery. But alas, I'll have to wait until the 20th. So be it. But I have a tip for people setting up the new iPhones. So if you want to migrate from an older model iPhone to the new one, there are two basic ways. One, restore from backup. I have done this many times and it's possibly the easiest and fastest way to do it. Or two, set up as new. Basically reinstalling and setting up all your apps. There's many reasons why to do this. For me, it's to make sure the new iPhone has the cleanest possible install without any.
Oh yeah, he was recording using his AirPods and he said there were some breakouts. I might need to listen to this.
Reasons why to do this. For me, it's to make sure the new iPhone has the cleanest.
Yeah, I don't know whether I should cut that or not, because it's actually missing the audio. Okay, listen to this way, Steve. Are you paying attention?
Yeah. What
okay,
part?
Listen.
What part of?
Listen, there's going to be the word iPhone is actually going to get clipped out here.
Make sure the new iPhone has the cleanest possible install.
So that's with a gap. I could cut it where it just is. Get rid of the dead air. Shoot. Gosh darn it. I hate it when it does that.
I would leave it in because you can hear him start to say the word, so at least you know what he's going to say.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it in. It's going to be a pain to listen to the whole thing. Okay. Yeah. So I'll give you, just in case you care, the quick version of this is he's got a great tip on how to do clean installs. Okay, what's going on? Hang on. Okay. Trying to go to the end of that. There we go. He's got a great tip for how to do clean installs, and more gets into it, which is fun. Okay.
Day en veel plezier. Van groetjes van Joop.
Well, I'm assuming that he said goodbye. Everything's awesome. Thank you so much for letting me do this. I don't know what he said at the end. Actually, Terry Vogelaar is in the live chat. Maybe he'll be able to tell us what Joop said at the end there. Anyway, when I first heard Joop's tip, I didn't really grok exactly what he meant. I'm kind of slow, right? Anyway, his tip is quite clever. By hiding everything not on this phone before you do the clean install, then you know that everything showing needs to go back on the newly restored phone. It's brilliant. Well, sometimes I do want an app back that I would have hidden using this process. I found Apple support article HT201322 that explains how to unhide all of your purchases in one single step over in iTunes on your Mac or your PC. I mean, you do it on the Mac or the PC, but it actually affects the online service. So that's kind of a cool way to do Joop's tip. But then when you want to see them all again, you don't want to have to go. I mean, they're all hidden. The things that you didn't have on your phone, maybe you do want to get them back. You can unhide them all at once. Well, I wrote back to Joop after he sent in the article, and I bemoaned the fact that if you use an Apple Watch or store other health data in your phone, in your iPhone, doing a clean install will erase this data forever. Many a time I've had Apple suggest a clean install to solve a problem on my phone, but begrudgingly, they will admit that my years of exercise data would be erased. Did you know I've walked, run, and cycled a total of 3,137.6 miles since I got my Apple Watch? That's far enough to cross the continental United States. I can't lose that data. Anyway, after I wrote to Yop about this, and he wrote back with the most fantastic news. According to an article by Serenity Caldwell on iMore just a few days ago, Apple has fixed this in iOS 11. Now, your health data is actually synced to the cloud outside of your iCloud backup. There's a switch she shows you turn on, but mine was defaulted to on. With syncing, you can switch phones, watches, and even do a clean install without losing any of your data. I am thrilled with this news. And in fact, I'm probably going to have to do it because I got a bunch of weird problems going on with my iPhone 10 that are, I'm 98% certain have nothing to do with the 10. They're just like buggy iOS things. Like I have to reboot my phone to get the App Store to download apps sometimes. It's a couple of annoying things like that. It smells like just regular iOS to me. Anyway, if you've been thinking about doing a clean install, it's important that Dave Hamilton talked about this on the Mac Geek Gab, and he quoted a survey that was done that said a really large percentage of people are saying that their battery life is way worse on iOS 11. And he did a install from backup, and it totally fixed his problems with the battery life. So if you're having battery life problems, you might want to do a regular, backup and restore from backup. But if not, now we actually have a way that Yop recommends here, where we can do a full backup. We can keep our health data, and it's all great. I'm really excited about this. Anyway, thanks so much to Yop for a great tip, and one I can actually use now. Way off script again.
Off script, man. Allison, wow.
I know. I'm just on my game. I'm just throwing it out there. It's crazy.
The off script evening. So a lot of Dutch translation going on in the chat room.
Oh, did he say what it meant?
Well, a lot of things.
He said
including what Joop said. Joop?
Yop.
Including what
Joop. So let's see. What does he say?
So I think
wait, John is in there doing the translations from Dutch?
I think Terry is the one that translated it with lots of pleasure. Regards from Yop.
Oh, I should put that right now. Okay. Yeah, that's Terry. Okay, hang on. Let me throw that in. By the way, this just in, Terry Vogelar did do the translation of Yop's sign off. He said, lots of pleasure. Regards from Yop. I love our international audience. It's amazing to me that we have this many people from the Netherlands. Helma is from the Netherlands as well. So it's just, we're all having some fun together. This is great. Thank you, Terry, for translating there for Yop. All right. Wow. John, how do you know Dutch?
Yeah, that he just snuck that in. John's got some Dutch connection there.
Yeah. Well, Terry has sent in a review that I haven't played. I won't be playing this week. I'll be playing it next week, probably, about using Duolingo to learn languages. So, maybe we should all learn Dutch. Sounds like we're going to need to do that.
So John has been referring to Dutch counterparts. It may be at work. Maybe
okay.
Only a couple words I learned while traveling for work. Okay.
Okay, it's my turn.
iPhone. This can't go well.
What do you mean? I don't get to do my own stuff?
Yeah.
I don't think did you ever review my iPhone second look?
No.
I used millimeters instead of centimeters, and luckily Alistair fixed it for me. So
it's only a factor of 10.
Yeah.
What's an order of magnitude?
It's an iPhone 10. Friends? Get it? Factor of 10. All right, here we go. Last week, I gave you, Stephen, my first impressions of the iPhone 10, and I promised to give you a few more observations after using it for a bit longer. I have to say, Face ID is the flashy new feature, so let's start there. Steve and I like it more and more as we use it. When you first get the phone, it's natural to lift the phone, and Wake on Raise needs to be enabled, but I think that might be the default. But then you stare at the camera until you see the little lock icon unlock, and then you swipe up to get to the home screen. Now, that's just slightly faster than using Touch ID. But after a little bit of use, you realize that the unlocking of the lock is merely an animation, and you don't have to wait for it. Pretty soon, you get into the easy habit of lifting the phone and swiping up because Face ID is already unlocked, noticing you're looking at it and unlocked it. It is way faster than Touch ID. I love the swipe up on that. I mean, it's just fantastic. It's so fast. Now, I have a couple of big things I like with iPhone 10 for the over 40 crowd. Being over 40 gives you a good chance of needing reading glasses. Now, I went for progressive lenses, which for anybody who doesn't know what those are, that's a modern version of bifocals. Anyway, I went for those across the board a while ago so I could read but still look out at a distance, all without taking on and off my glasses. I even had progressive lenses put in my sunglasses. But with the iPhone, and I presume other phones, the polarization of the glass was or of the display was a problem. If my iPhone 7 Plus was in portrait mode, the screen would be so dark with sunglasses that I had a lot of trouble reading it. So I'd turn the phone sideways, hoping to embiggen the text and have the polarization reversed so it would be brighter. Sadly, the iPhone 7 Plus had that supposedly nifty split screen, adding a sidebar in landscape mode in apps like Mail. So it wouldn't be any bigger. Then I'd have to hit another button just to get rid of that annoying sidebar. But here's the awesome part about the iPhone 10. It's got circular polarization. So no matter which way I rotate it, I can still see and read with my sunglasses. It doesn't get dark in any orientation. And because it's in a smaller form factor, delightfully, the iPhone 10 does not have a sidebar added when going into landscape mode. You know, it is actually pretty tall. So when you went into landscape mode, they could have put it there, but I never, ever liked it. So I'm really glad it doesn't have that. Anyway, on the iPhone 10, I always had to take my sunglasses off, switch to my normal clear glasses, and back. It was really annoying. So speaking of sunglasses, the first time I tried Face ID with them on, it failed. I immediately typed in my long, complex password, and the next time I tried Face ID with the sunglasses on, it worked immediately, and it has ever since with my sunglasses. The fact that it learns without you actively teaching it is awesome. Still, with the over 40 crowd, contour lighting on the iPhone 10. Stop because I did the wrong still. It's just supposed to say still with, not still. Totally different. Okay, there we go. Kevin's not here to tell me to save, but I'm saving anyway. All right. Still with the over 40 crowd, contour lighting on the iPhone 10, and I think the iPhone 8 camera has it, is a girl's best friend. I took a selfie after helping Lindsay and Nolan and Forbes move into their new house. It was late in the day, and I looked like a train wreck, and the lighting was unflattering at best. But I flipped it over to contour lighting, and the wrinkles were mostly gone on my face. My neck still looked kind of creepy. But anyway, it's still not the best image of me, but I can only imagine how great it will do when I'm not exhausted. I should mention that this mode is on a little carousel while you're taking the photo, but you can actually play with that carousel and choose different lighting after you take the image. It's pretty amazing. In that carousel are a few other effects like studio lighting and stage lighting, which are also pretty fun. Oh, and these effects are available now on both the front and the back cameras. I'm not sure if this is why, but I suspect the back camera can do it because it has two lenses for parallax, so it can get the nice depth photo thing going. And the front camera can do it because it has depth sensing from the Face ID sensors. In any case, really cool effects. Now I think about, why do you need depth sensing to fix wrinkles? But okay, hey, I'm not going to argue with it. Again, girl's best friend. Great selfie camera. Well, lest you think this is all joy and wonder, let's talk about a few things that annoy Steve and me. Last week, I explained that while swiping up from the bottom gesture bar to get to the home screen is perfectly intuitive, it was harder and less intuitive to get to the app switcher card view with a partial swipe up and hold. Neither Steve nor I have gotten used to this gesture even another week later. Now, the main reason I use the app switcher is to change to the most recent app. I rarely want to go flipping back, 5 or 10 apps ago. Luckily, to get to the most recent app, you simply swipe from left to right on the gesture bar. It's a very easy gesture, and that I'm getting used to. Now, I complained last week about how it was even less intuitive to quit apps from the app switcher. You have to press and hold on a card until all of them gets a red circle on them. Then you can swipe up on any card you can see or hit the red circle on the one you want to get rid of. I was hoping to tell you by now that Steve and I were masters of this gesture sequence. I'm sad to report that we both still hate it. It's a lot of extra work. Here's how I do it. My process is to swipe up too far and end up at the home screen. Then I have to open some random app so I can get back to the app switcher. So I carefully swipe partway up and I hold to get to the app switcher. Then I have to press and hold, but nothing happens. So I have to change which app to press and hold again, then finally swipe up, but accidentally quit the wrong app. That's my process. Well, Renee Ritchie on MacBreak Weekly said he asked Apple why they made it harder to quit an app. And they told him because they don't want people doing it. Well, I guess I understand that. You know, those OCD-like people who sit there in a frenzy and are quitting all their apps all the time. But there's a lot of other times you have to be able to quit an app. How about when the App Store misbehaves and can't find anything in search and you have to quit and restart it? Remember me saying my phone's been doing that? Or how about when Facebook comes up blank, never resolves? Or how about when you want to check a path in Waze, but once you see the path, you do not want your battery chewed up, so you just want it to stop. You don't need to follow the directions. You need to be able to quit it. There's a lot of reasons we have to quit our apps. Well, this next one is not an annoyance, but kind of more of a surprise. Remember the extensive geometry I did to prove that the iPhone 10 screen is only 1% smaller than the iPhone Plus? Well, what I didn't realize was that the narrowness of the iPhone 10 actually makes lots of things much smaller. I noticed this when I was peering carefully at the same image on my iPhone 7 Plus versus the iPhone 10 to see if I could tell that the OLED screen was better than the LCD screen. Gotta tell you, I still can't tell. Anyway, I'm just wrong. It's amazing. I'm just wrong. It's totally, you should go crazy about it. Anyway, after I got out I had the same image on these two phones, I got out a ruler and I measured the size of the image when it was displayed on these two phones side by side. And it turns out images on the iPhone, I've got this, what the? Images taken on iPhone are 9.1 by 6.9 and the plus size. Okay. Jeez. That's a poor sentence. And I don't like the way I did that sentence. Let's see. By side. All right. The plus-sized iPhone pictures are 9.1 millimeters by 6.9 millimeters. Shoot. This is not corrected. Dang it. Which is better? Sorry. I have to fix this. I need to fix this. And I just got to make sure I get this right. This still has the millimeters, not centimeters. Okay. Wait. Dagnabbit. Centimeters. Send a blog. Okay. I can get to it. All right. Boy, Steve was politely quiet. He usually interrupts me during that kind of stuff.
Well, since you asked, when you say images taken, do you mean as they are displayed on the screen?
Yeah, this is where I'm struggling with the sentence. What I wrote was,
images displayed.
I noticed this when peering carefully at the same image on my iPhone Plus, 7 Plus for this is a 10. I said, I got out a ruler and measured the size of the image when displayed on the two phones. Images taken on iPhone.
Displayed.
No, it's important that they were images taken on an iPhone because you could have a 16 by 9 camera. That's why I had that in there.
Images displayed on the iPhone.
No, all images aren't displayed the same size, Steve. If you do a panorama,
okay,
or if you have a 16 by 9 camera,
images taken and displayed.
The point is that the images were created by some iPhone. That's what I was trying to say. It's not clear at all.
But it's also not clear how.
I think you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the same image. That's
Okay.
what I'll say. All right. Here we go. The same image is 9.1 centimeters by 6.9 centimeters on the plus size phone. So 9 by 7 essentially. But on the iPhone 10, they're only 8.3 by 6.2 millimeters. That makes the plus size image actually 23% bigger. That's not insignificant.
Wait,
but surprising.
You went back to millimeters.
Did I?
You just said millimeter. The first one you said
God,
centimeters.
I only changed one of them. That's why. Gosh darn it. Okay, find millimeters. I bet the first time I did this, I only changed it one place too. Plug. We're going to get this right yet. Thank you, Steve. Okay. Here, let's get to this millimeter thingy. Okay. The same image is 9.1 centimeters by 6.9 centimeters on the plus size phone. So like 9 by 7, but it's only 8.3 centimeters by 6.2 centimeters on the iPhone 10. That makes the plus size image actually 23% bigger, and that's not insignificant. But surprisingly, I'm not missing the big size, and I really liked having a big phone. I'm really not sure why this is. Perhaps the clarity of the screen really does make a difference. So the fact that I can see it in sunlight with my glasses on, I don't know. It's still hard to tell. Well, here's an annoyance. I tried to play around with VoiceOver on iPhone 10. The first thing I tried to do was go to the home screen from inside an app. I moved my finger around until I heard a bonking noise, which was when I was on the little gesture bar at the bottom, and then I swept way up on the screen like I would without VoiceOver. But it took me to the app switcher instead of going to the home screen. I tried this like 20 times, and I only got to the home screen twice. I tweeted a question about this, and Allison Hartley from the Tech Doctor podcast came to my aid. We chatted back and forth on direct messages on Twitter, but I still couldn't get it to work. She generously offered to get on a Skype call with me so she could demonstrate for me on video. I thought it was kind of funny that a blind person would think of that, but it totally worked. Well, anyway, as we worked together, she helped me figure out a couple of things. The gesture bar, if your finger is in the right place, does not make a bonking sound. It's more of a boop or perhaps a bloop. Anyway, she explained that the bonking sound is VoiceOver's way of telling you you're in a spot where it can't identify anything at all. She said the gesture bar is really very, very far down at the bottom. Once I got down far enough, I heard the bloop instead of the bonk. Totally different. But when I swiped way up on the screen, I still got that darn app switcher, and I wasn't trying to get to the app switcher. I wanted to get to the home screen. We went back and forth for quite a while until I realized that the sighted and blind gestures are exactly the opposite. For the sightlings, we have to swipe way up to get to home and only partially up to get to the app switcher. For VoiceOver users, it's the opposite. Why would they do that? So way up is the app switcher for them, and partially up, maybe like a third of the way up, that gets you to the home screen. Why Apple reverse those, I will never know. Well, I showed Steve how with VoiceOver, the blind have a much easier way of quitting apps. Remember I was annoyed about that, and so was Steve? Once you get to the app switcher with VoiceOver, you only have to swipe up with 3 fingers to quit an app. His first reaction was, I want that. I agree with him. By the way, you're going to get Allison on Chit Chat Across the Pond during December. She's got a rant planned about the phrase, it just works, because she said she had a bear of a time setting up her iPhone 10. Should be really fun. Allison is awesome. Plus, I think it's fun to say Allison is awesome. All right, I have a love-hate relationship with the control center on iPhone 10. I really prefer sliding down in the upper right ear, then sliding up from the bottom of the screen on the home button phones. With slide up from the bottom, I could never get into Control Center if I was in an app that had a text entry field open because it would get confused. It would kind of get stuck like I was selecting that text entry area. Within the upper right, Control Center is 100% reliable for me. I think it's way better. I say hate though, because I hate that I have to go to it more often. What's my battery percentage? Control Center is required. Did my VPN come on at Starbucks like it was supposed to? Into Control Center to find out. Turns out there's not enough room on screen, so the battery percentage doesn't show, and neither does VPN. I should say it does briefly show VPN right when it kicks in, but if you miss it, you're back to going to Control Center to make sure that it's up. Now, I do really love having the disconnect from Wi-Fi button in Control Center, though. As much as I whined that it didn't turn off Wi-Fi like it seemed it was doing, so many times I'm on dodgy Wi-Fi, so my VPN isn't quite connecting, and I just really like to just get me to cellular data so I can get something done. Or in this case, as I leave the house to go to the gym, I always send Dorothy a glimpse so she knows when to expect us. It was always hard to do it right as we left because my Wi-Fi would stick to the house for like a half a block. This is no longer a problem. I tap that button and I'm good to go. All right, wait, that didn't have anything to do with anything to do with Control Center with the iPhone 10. But anyway, I really like that part of Wi-Fi in the Control Center. I think it's good. So I've run into a couple little bugs on iPhone 10. Nothing serious, but they were kind of interesting to me. One day, notifications were on both ears, so I had no access to Control Center at all. A reboot sorted it, but it was kind of a curiosity. I've also been trying to join the Animoji Karaoke Fun Fest invented by Harry McCracken, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But you have to use... Why did you come off of mute, Steve? It just went into complete echo.
I didn't realize. I thought I was on mute. Okay.
You were, and then you got off of it. It was like all of a sudden it got real. It got this weird.
I didn't
echo.
hit anything. Okay, going on back on mute.
Okay. I've also been trying. Nope. I've also got a problem that when I'm trying to do a screen recording, it often tells me that my microphone is being used by something else. And I only have that one app open that I'm trying to record. If I reboot, I can record audio, but the next time I try to do it, I can't. So that one's getting really annoying. So I think that clean install that Yope talked about is in my future. Well, like I said, I was on the SMR podcast this week and they were asking me about the iPhone 10 because Chris was considering it. And I realized as I described the phone that this is a truly new phone. The iPhone 7 Plus was awesome because it was huge and had a way better camera than my iPhone 6, but it really felt like a new version of a phone I already had. iPhone 10 feels like a new phone. I love it, and I want to play with it all the time. In fact, I got to go get going. That Animoji Karaoke isn't going to record itself, you know. Actually, I got to take that off. I didn't talk about it. In fact, I want to play with it all the time. Yes, I cut the Animoji thing out of that because I actually decided to do a little quick blog post about it.
Whoops.
What?
So I prematurely put in your...
I'm going to do that soon.
Okay.
All right. Did I already say I love it? I love it. Take that. I love it, and I want to play with it all the time. Okay. Now you're allowed to talk about Animoji Karaoke. All right, where is it? The heck? Where's my Animoji Karaoke post? Oh, I see what's going on.
It's in the chat room.
It's in the chat room. Thanks, Steve. There it is. Oh, good. Yeah, guys, go watch that. Oh, Warp's mine. I get it.
Nipples too.
What about nipples?
Sandy considers the unicorn.
Nipples too. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Harry McCracken, the technology director of Fast Company, has invented something super fun with the iPhone 10. He has named it Animoji Karaoke. It's a very silly idea, but it's a little bit tricky to execute. Using an iPhone 10 and Messages, you can create an animated emoji or Animoji, but you can only record with the built-in recorder in Messages, you can only record 10 seconds. Well, the trick he figured out was to use the iPhone's the iPhone 10's built-in screen recorder to record messages instead. That means when you have it open, so if you've got messages open and you just start talking with an Animoji going, it's actually animating right in front of you. So you can use that, the built-in screen recorder to record that entire screen, and you can talk as long as you want, as long as it records. This does mean that you then have to open it in an editor. I used ScreenFlow, and that allows you to crop and get just the Animoji so you don't have this whole screen full of glop. But to make it karaoke, you also have to lip sync to some audio, and then you have to bring that audio into the video. By the way, that's how I figured out that my phone doesn't let me do audio recordings twice, because I was trying to do Animoji and I was having to reboot the phone each time. So I just did it, the karaoke thing, I just did it separately. Anyway, I thought you guys might get a kick out of my attempt at Animoji karaoke. So there's a link in the show notes to one I call To Boldly Go. Now I could play it for you, but since it's karaoke, it would make no sense at all. All right. I even for the first time, I put a tip in the screen reader one. So, Dan, it's not quite as stupid for you to click it as it would sound. I'm using the word anyway a lot. Oh, that's when I'm just winging it probably, huh?
Yep.
All right. Time for Denise anyway. Maybe I just say, maybe I use anyway all the time in regular speech.
No, it's when you're winging it and you transition.
Anyway. Thanks.
It's not that much.
Okay.
Just enough to mention it.
Well, what happened was, all right, let's see. No sense at all.
Hello, castaways.
Make no sense at all.
Hello, castaways.
She's got to click. I can hear her click her mouse. All right. What you never want to do is tell me that you got a new toy, because the first thing I say is, so you doing a review for it? Which is what happened to Denise. Sense at all. Sense at all.
Hello, castaways. This is Denise Crown, and I have a confession. I'm obsessed with Hue lights. I started with the Hue White and Color Ambient starter kit and quickly fell in love. Before I even knew what I was doing, I'd purchased floodlights for the kitchen, added bulbs to the bedrooms, and purchased a Bloom and a Go portable. I normally control them with either the Hue app on my iPhone or Amazon's Echo Dot. The Echo Dot works great and has become my home automation integration tool of choice. It just works, and it works with everything I have. What problems do Hue lights actually solve, you might be thinking? Well, they're fun, and a lack of fun is a big problem. I love changing the color of my lights for occasions or just dimming them to a soft gold at night. I love setting the app to turn them on as my car approaches the house for work. I use IFTTT for that. I love being able to turn all the lights on if I hear a noise. I love turning them off and on if I'm away from home at night. Hue lights are wonderful and just one of the home automation investments that I'm so happy I made. Now, the problem to be solved is that when people come to visit who are not accustomed to barking orders to the lady in the Amazon cylinder, they tend to flip light switches on and off. Oh, sure, I could buy connected light switches, fish around in my breaker box until I find the right circuit, and then the problem would be solved with an hour of electrical work. Or I could add the Hue motion sensor, which is available for $37 USD on Amazon, and that's what I did. The Hue motion sensor is a smallish white device, roughly 2 inches square. It can sit on a counter, be wall-mounted, or affixed to something with its non-destructive magnet. As my mom was coming to town the next day, and I knew she would not dig chatting with the Echo Dot, I slapped this little guy on the refrigerator and my problem was solved. This sensor also works with your Nest thermostat, Apple HomeKit, and Google Assistant, and even with Samsung SmartThings, just like the Hue bulbs. Philips really thought the Hue light system through, and that's one of the reasons it gives me so much joy. Once you've set up the sensor, open your Hue app, head over to settings, and look for accessory setup. If you don't see this, you might need to update your Hue app. because it's a recent addition to the Hue lineup. But here's where the fun begins. You can really boss this sensor around. You tell it what lights to control, how bright or what color you want them, the times of day, when to shut off, how sensitive to be to daylight and motion. Oh, it's great. I've included the Amazon link, which is what I call Allison's affiliate link to Amazon, so you can help the show if you like. I'm really planning on buying a couple more. One by the back door when we come in the garage would be great, and one going up the stairs at night. It is a fantastic addition to the setup.
That is so cool. I absolutely need that for Christmas.
Did you see that phrase she quoted? I've included the Amazon link, which is what I call Allison's affiliate Amazon. Amazon.
I love it. I love it. Definitely. All right.
Oh, and Sandy calls it the Alizon.
Oh, so you guys have different. Oh, Alamazon or Alazon. Oh. Okay. Let me see if I can read that without screwing it up.
Addition to the setup.
Okay, so that was a great review by Denise, but the chat room is going nuts over her name for the Allison Amazon link. The Alamazon link is what she called it. Sandy, it turns out, calls it the Alazon link. I love it. I love it. It's great. I got to tell you, Denise, that's just cost Steve some money for Christmas because I need that Hue motion sensor. I do talk to my lights. I tell them when to come on, when to go off, but she doesn't listen to me very often. It's Siri, of course, who's not listening. She is often just like, yeah, I'll get right on that. Yeah, when I get time. I don't know, might do it, might not. I'm not sure. That's kind of her attitude. So if we can just leave and come back and the lights come on and off, that is a perfect solution. But now I'm looking at those other things. I didn't know they made floodlights by Hue. This is this is going to cost us a lot of money. Well, last week on the show, I mentioned that if you're already supporting the podcast via Patreon, you can actually go in and edit your contributions. You can make them go up or down if you need to. Anyway, I was delighted this week to see 2 different people raise their pledges. That was really cool of you guys. Now, if you're not already contributing and you'd like to get in with the cool kids, head on over to podfeed.com/Patreon and sign up. It's painless and will make you feel good. All right. Security Bits. Security Bits music might be my favorite music we have on the show, Steve.
Yeah, who selected that music?
I did.
Oh, Security Bits?
You gave me some options, and I chose the best one.
Right.
Okay, fine. You actually did all the work. It's a fun process when I'm looking for some music. He goes and he gets me an assortment of maybe, I give him kind of the attitude I want, like Tiny Tips. I wanted like da 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 da, real happy joy thing, and then he has this what is it called, Steve?
Digital Juice.
Digital Juice, and it lets him actually work on the mix. So sometimes it'll be like, this is almost perfect, but it's got, a piano in it that I don't like, or it's got a drum beat and I don't like, and he can take those out, and he's got different length ones. It's pretty cool.
And
what?
It's, what is it? Royalty free.
Royalty free. Well, yeah, that's the important piece, right? All right. Favorite music. Someone clip that clip. Did I say favorite music?
I just heard a
notification
update sound come through.
Through
your mic? Was that through your mic?
I don't
know.
An
iPhone update.
No, that was like that sounds like an email, but I don't have mail open. That was my mail sound. I heard it too.
You sure
Maybe
wasn't
it was from yours?
No. You sure it wasn't out? It didn't sound like it came from your Mac. It sounded like it came from a device.
John heard it too.
It sounded like a device off mic.
It sounded like it was right on my headphones to me, and I would not have heard that.
All right.
I don't know. See if I got a notification. I got a Telegram notification. Oh, I can't stop Telegram, by the way. I can quit Telegram. I can go into Do Not Disturb, and my Mac will give me those Telegram notifications. I cannot kill it.
And that's the one notification that comes through on Night Clock, or the app that Alistair wrote.
Oh, really? Where he blocks all the rest of them?
Yeah. Telegram notifications still get through there.
They've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Dan's asking about your Digital Juice collection. All right.
The problem is that, well, they changed the business model, so it's not like it used to be.
Okay, why don't you type to him and tell him while I finish this? You feel good. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots. I have no idea what's going on in security this week. I haven't heard anything hair on fire, so maybe it's a calm week?
I guess it is, because the bulk of the show...
Actually, there was a point in the show where I might delete. Let me look at Security Bits and see if I can find it. Where was it? It was in... Okay. So that is probably halfway through. How much time have I got? I got 4 minutes. All right.
The favorite language. Maybe that'll be enough. And you get the idea. You sort of keep adding in this information, and will give you subtle differences.
So I can see how in some manufacturers that is highly variable. That's not highly variable on Macs, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And depending on, like, it actually proves to be a shockingly strong signal.
Okay.
These really.
By the way, I wasn't trying to say, you're saying.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which would have to be anti-aliased and dizzard and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay. So we're back to the same. So the nefarious thing behind. I'm asking you, how do you can't do a canvas on
for bringing this into a mainstream browser. Individual haddock was targeted by the dragnet, but they all got caught up in it.
Okay.
No, not.
That was a very convincing okay. Okay. Bart and we're a little bit out of sync this time. Salvaged
by the dragnet, but they all got caught up in it.
Okay.
No, not.
That was a very convincing okay, was it?
No, that sounded like Allison's I don't understand okay.
Yeah.
Will I let them go ahead? And that's a very, very simple rule. Why does a legitimate website have a need to read pixel data from a hidden canvas? It doesn't.
Okay.
So that's going to have no impact on a real world situation, because if you're playing a web game
and have that be the canvas. We're still on the
I'm sure it's possible, but that's twice as.
I just feel like we're getting fatigue, I like the idea of squishing it early too, because so much of this is they waited until it got horrible before they started trying to fix it.
Yes.
I mean, exactly. Autoplay videos
in the world.
By the way, I want to throw in one little anecdote here in talking about the autoplay video ads. I heard Leo Laporte talking. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny. Getting there. Okay. I thought that was hang on. iOS 11 went to iOS 11.1.1 to get rid of the. That's it. This is where.
Yes, it did, but that wasn't a security update. That was a stop people shouting at their phone update.
Let me cut this. Let me do a split right there. Because I get mad at him. We'll pretend I never get mad at anybody. Where's the split? Oh, there's the button. Split. So I asked you a question offline. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right, there you go. Don't want it there. All right.
Yes, it did, but that wasn't a security update. That was a stop people shouting at their phone update.
So I asked. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted to get rid of. Good.
Shouting at their phone update.
So I asked you a question offline, and maybe I can ask it again here. Okay, perfect. That's what I want to get rid of. Okay. Darn, leave that in, mad at Bart. How could that happen? No, it was just like super uncomfortable silence for like where I was just like, what? So anyway.
Made for some good radio.
Well, actually, yeah. It just,
Well, maybe you should play it for the chat room.
Nope, it's gone. I cut it already. Too late.
Never to be heard again.
Oh.
It never existed.
Never existed. It never ever happened. No, it's just okay. All it was he talked about iOS 11's update, and I said iOS 11.1.1 came out, and he said, "Well, but that was not a security update." And I just sat there for like a minute. I didn't answer him because I didn't know what to say. I was like, apparently he thinks that I have strict rules. In fact, that's part of what he said. He said, "Well, I'm under strict rules, and I can't talk about anything that's not security light." Like, when did we ever have a strict agenda? So anyway, but I didn't know how to answer. So it's just me not saying anything for a long time. It's really uncomfortable in real life, much less to play back for anybody.
Hey, the segment is called Security Bits.
I know, but
not fix the iOS, not fix the iOS autocorrect bug.
Shoot, Nick left and I didn't open my boogers yet. Oh man.
Phrasing.
So since George was late and refuses to buy drinks, he didn't know that I got a box of boogers from Pat Dingler. All right, your reward if you stay to the end for me to add in the very end of this is that you get to see me open my boogers. All right, here we go. All right.
As we always say, stay patched, stay secure.
Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Do not forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions. You can email me at allison@podfeet.com. You can follow me on Twitter @podfeet. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. We should start talking about some of these things some more because I don't explain very much of it. I think there's more we can talk about it. Anyway, I've talked about podfeet.com/Patreon, but there's also our Facebook group at podfeet.com/Facebook. And of course, our Google Plus community at podfeet.com/Google Plus. And don't forget your Amazon or Amazon. I forget how she said it, like at podfeet.com/Amazon. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show with a bunch of knuckleheads that are super fun, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCast castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. All right. Everybody okay with knuckleheads?
Knuckleheads?
Yeah, I called you guys knuckleheads.
Did you say George left? He's still here.
No, I said he refused to, even though I was showing it to him because he wasn't here when I showed it earlier because he wasn't here earlier. Man, it's hard to get good help.
You meant when you first introduced the boogers.
Yes.
Sandy approves of knuckleheads.
Okay, good. Sandy is so my people.
And Brett's been called worse, and Rose just smiled.
All right, good. Let's see. Okay, if we get this done, we get our homework done, our work done. Fantastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening. Whoop. And enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Oh, Steve, that's silly. Oh, Terry's deeply insulted.
Of course.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
there's always one.
I could go back and add everybody, but Terry is a knucklehead.
John didn't know they came in boxes. Huh?
All right, here we go.
Wait, I gotta come over there.
Okay, because he wants a booger too. All right, I need to open this carefully though, so that I don't hurt the box. Right, we got to do this just great. So, do you want the honor, Steve? You seem to really. Steve cares about how things are open. You got to come down here where they can see you.
All right,
there we go. Wait, now the mic's in your way. All right, good video.
Is this the right end?
Video over here. Video. Come on, you got to be. Don't wreck it.
I'm not. No, this is
important.
Careful opening.
Please tell me you can get a keyframe for the. Oh, you did. Oh, I could have done that. No, give it to me. No, wait. Let's use George's cutter.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. Well, actually, no. This is the one George sent me. This thing is terrifying. Watch this. Are you ready? Watch the end fly off of this thing. Oh no! I lost the tip on that. That's right. So this has a cutter here. It's terrifying. George
safety cutter.
All right. I'm going to turn it around.
You're going to slice your keyboard or your finger.
I am. I'm going to slice something.
Come first.
This is terrifying.
Backwards.
No, it's not backwards, is it? Yeah, I think this thing is left-handed, George. No, there you go. You go like that? No, that's just a sharp edge.
Yeah, it's a sharp edge. That's the edge you want.
Okay. All right. Oh, they're in a bag. All right.
More.
We got a bag of boogers. All right.
Bag of boogers.
Here's our boogers. Oh, you're scaring me.
Ready?
Okay. Your face is not. Okay. There we go. All right. Here you go, Steve.
Mm.
You want to eat your boogers? You know I'm putting it up my nose. You just know that, right?
Kind of gummy.
Those are pretty good, actually.
Not bad.
I kind of like them. I like eating my boogers. Here, you can get boogies here. Oh, I should put a link in the show notes to my Amazon affiliate link for boogies, right? All right, guys. Oh, man, I'm starting to drool from the sugar. Oh, Tessa wants a booger. Come here, Tess. She wants a booger.
Don't feed her that.
I won't. Oh, man, that's really making me drool. Okay, well, it's clear that this show has gone completely off the rails. I am very glad that you guys all came. So say goodbye, Steve.
Good night, Gracie. Have a nice booger meal.
Those are really sweet. Okay, bye, everybody. Bye, Rose. Mwah.